welcome back to my channel. It's been over a year since I last made a video, but in this video I want to announce to you guys that I am pregnant with twins. Yes, you heard that right, you read that right in the title. So I wrote down a few things that I thought you guys might want to know, like the biggest questions, the juiciest questions. And over on my Instagram, if you don't follow me on there, it's just Rudy Talk with 2 Y's. I did announce it on there a while ago and I did answer some questions, so if you guys want to look at anything, go through the twins highlights on there. So I'm gonna jump in with the first question. How far along am I? So I am 12 weeks pregnant. There's a little discrepancy with the amount of weeks I am because I saw 2 different doctors at both of my appointments. So the first one, when I was 8 weeks, he said I was a little bit behind, and then when I saw the other doctor, she said that, well, she just kind of went by my last cycle, and then when I got a call from the NT scan to schedule that, then they told me to just go by my last menstrual cycle. So I was like, all right. So according to that, I am 12 weeks yesterday. The second question, was this planned? Absolutely not. It was not planned. First of all, the twins part of it was not planned, but the pregnancy part of it was also not planned. As a lot of you know, my last pregnancy with Mason, I didn't really share much of that on YouTube, and I think it was just because, especially when I gave birth, first of all, I couldn't record the labor and delivery because it happened so fast. I went into labor, I think around like 12. That's gonna be another video, but I'm just gonna briefly tell you guys because I never really shared this. But I went into labor with him around 12 something at night, like after I went to sleep, the night of his due date. So I labored by myself for about 3 hours. When the contractions started getting really long, then around, I think we got to the hospital around 4 a.m. and then by 6-ish he was already born. So, and I was already at 6 by the time I got to the hospital. So his labor and delivery was insanely fast, like very, very fast. And then the pandemic hit and it was just too crazy. I started my own business. Things have just been so insanely busy. Noah's going to school and I just put YouTube kind of like away. Like I was just not gonna make videos because it was just too much for me. And I just want to share this journey because it's so different from everything else. All of my other pregnancies have been planned, and especially twins. It's like twins, I don't think they really run in my family. Like my grandpa had a set of twins not with my grandma, and on my dad's side there's a set of twins, but it's like my great grandma. So, and I don't know if they're fraternal or identical, and I know that fraternal twins do run in families, and we don't know what these are yet, so I'm not really sure on if they actually run the family. So yeah, this was not planned at all. After Mason, we decided, you know, it's a lot to have 3 kids. You know, we did want a big family, but we had other priorities, especially saving for a house. That was our next big thing, was just saving up for a house for a few years and then buying a house and then maybe thinking about having other kids. But in my mind, I was just like, you know, I don't want to deal with any of like getting pregnant and having kids like later on, closer to 30 or like after 30. I personally didn't want to. So in my mind I was like, no, I'm not having any more kids. Like, that's it. We were being careful, we were not trying. I wasn't like tracking my cycles per se, because I only really track them and take ovulation tests and all that when I am trying for a baby. So I didn't have ovulation, so I was just going by my app, my Ovia period app. I was kind of looking at that loosely, like, okay, I'm expecting my, you know, my cycle to start soon, and I had only had 2 cycles prior to getting pregnant, because I did breastfeed Mason for a while. I was not even supposed to be on my fertile week. I got pregnant like after my fertile week, and we were being careful. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We were being very careful. We were not trying. I honestly still like barely know how it happened because we were being careful. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so how I found out I was pregnant, I feel like it should be its own video, but I'm gonna briefly tell you guys because again, it is, God, it was so like crazy. Like this whole entire thing, it's still so crazy to me. that I don't know, I just have to document it. It's like I'm still in shock and I'm 12 weeks. Like, what the heck? So anyway, how I found out I was pregnant, because we weren't trying. So I had bought from Walmart a big box of pregnancy tests. I think it's like 100 pregnancy tests for like $20 or something. I forgot when I ordered it, but I know I did, and I just had him in my bathroom. So because I had weaned him completely, then I decided, you know what, like having a drink or two, you know, here and there is fine. It's fun having some wine. I was like at home, after the kids went to bed, I'm chilling, like, you know. Because of that, I decided, okay, I'm just gonna have pregnancy tests available. Whenever you're sexually active, there's always a chance, even if you're on birth control, even if whatever, like there's always a chance. And I plan on having those pregnancy tests for a few, like, until they expired, and I'll be taking them regularly as I'm gonna be drinking, blah blah blah. So one day, nothing gave me the idea that I was pregnant. It was more like, oh, I have the test there, and later I'm gonna have a drink, like, you know, at night. It was during the day. You know, I was in school. I think Mason was taking a nap, and Elon was like on his tablet or something. And I was like, why not? Like, let me just take it. I'm gonna drink later. Like, let me make sure. My period wasn't due for like 3 days, and it was such a big joke in my head, because when I said, like, let me just take this test, it was literally like an F it type of thing. It was just like, let me just take it because it's there and I can, you know. I took the test, I put it down, and I was just like, all right, hurry up and be negative so I can throw you out. Like, you know, I was just, I don't know why it was such a joke that time that I took it. I, you know, washed my hands and stuff, and then I look at it, there was a little shadow, but it had no color, it was just gray. So when I look at it, like, my mouth just dropped open, and it felt like I was in a movie. Like, I just started getting hot, and I was just like, there's no way, like, there's no way this is happening right now, because I didn't plan it. So you know, I'm a big planner. So I like left the bathroom, and then I came back. I was like, oh, maybe it just didn't dry enough. And you know, I was making up all the excuses in the entire world as to why the test was wrong, you know, or I thought it was wrong. So I kept coming back to it, and I even saved the test. I mean, not now, but I saved it that day because I just kept looking at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this test is wrong. Like, how many other women aren't taking these same tests and probably getting a false positive and getting, you know, all these emotions, you know, they might be trying. Like, I don't know why I was thinking about like everything else. So then when I had to use the bathroom again, I was like, let me take another one just to make sure that that one was wrong. So I take the other one, kind of the same thing. I see a shadow, and I'm like, oh my god, all of these tests are wrong. Like, this whole batch, I'm gonna have to get the batch. Oh no, I said they're expired. In my head, I was like, oh, these tests are expired. So I look at the box, and it says it expires in like 2 years, and I was like, okay, well, they're still not good. Like, these tests are not good. I take another one, and there's still a line. So what I decided to do was go to Target, do a drive up order, and get, I think it was clear blue, the ones with the lines, not the digital ones. So I did that, and I think it was, I forget the timeline. I can post all of the pictures as I'm saying this, because I honestly forgot. It was such a crazy thing that my memory is like all over the place. So when I took the clear blue, I think it was that same day or like the next day or something, there was definitely a line, but it was still very light. When I saw that, I was like, oh, this test is also wrong. Like, there's just no way. In my head, there was no way that it was possible, like, at all. Then once I said that to myself, I was like, okay, you sound crazy. How is it possible that 2 different brands that you got at completely 2 different stores, 2 different times, like months, are wrong? That whole time, I feel like I was dreaming. Like, it was so surreal to me. I didn't want to accept it, because I had just, you know, had a conversation with God saying, like, I think in my heart I really wanted one more baby, but I was just like, it's a lot to deal with, you know. We have other plans and stuff, so I was like, all right, I'll be okay with the 3 that I have. I'll be content and grateful. And then for, I think literally the night before I took the test, I said that, like, I was praying and just saying that in my head, like, you know, I'm finally like grateful. I'm gonna let go of the idea of having more kids. And then the next day when I got the positive test, I was just like, this is a lot for me to handle. I took those tests a few hours apart and the line was just getting like stronger. And then I think I woke up at like 3 in the morning the next day. I got more tests and the line was like pretty noticeable. And then the digital, I think I took it that morning maybe, and it said pregnant, and I had still not had my period. Like, it was supposed to come, I think I started taking the test like on a Thursday or a Wednesday, and then my period was supposed to come on a Saturday, and the last 2 had been so like right on time that I was convinced I was gonna get it, because I was also cramping like before. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get my period. Like, wow, I'm cramping like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days before. Okay, that's crazy, but sure. Like, I cramp a lot during my periods. I didn't say anything, I think, for like that whole time to Joel. I was just a mess myself. There was just a lot going on. I was mentally, I was just going crazy. That's how I found out that I was pregnant. I didn't believe it. I was in denial, complete denial. And then I told Joel, I forgot what day, like it had been a few days since I kind of knew, because I was in denial. I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna tell him because it's not happening. So eventually I did tell him. I was just sitting on the couch. He was putting the kids to bed. When he came out, I was just like, okay, how are you feeling? Because he gets a lot of migraines. So I was like, how are you feeling? He was like, good. And I was like, I just started laughing. I couldn't control myself. I started laughing. And I was just like, so I have something to tell you. And he was like, what? Are you pregnant? And I just started laughing hysterically. And I think I started tearing up, but like laughing, I couldn't stop myself. And I was just like, yes. And he was like, what? Like, he couldn't believe it either. We were both for a few days just in shock. Like, once I told him, I feel like I was even in bigger shock, because I had shared it with someone else, and it wasn't just in my head, and you know, I wasn't just dealing with it on my own. So I finally told him, and then it was just a lot of shock, a lot of processing on how we would handle the situation and everything. And then fast forward to about, I found out really early. I think I wasn't even 4 weeks pregnant, because I hadn't even missed my period. So then I made an appointment right away. During that time, I was trying to actually get pain medication for my periods to control that, and somehow it wasn't working out. You guys, I'm gonna do a whole like story more in detail on how I found out, because there's a lot more to it. So I had been in contact like with an OB, but she was just trying to help me with that. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm not even gonna need that medication because I'm pregnant. So I had to schedule an appointment with you guys. Anyway, so how I found out it was twins. I had extreme symptoms since I found out. I think like that week I was like pretty tired, like fatigue and stuff. And then very soon after I found out, the nausea kicked in. I couldn't eat anything. My fatigue was out of this world, like insane. And I lost like 5 pounds in like 3 days. It was craziness. I had never had so many symptoms in other pregnancies before. I know with Mason I did have a lot of symptoms, and those are like the last few videos that I made, but although they were bad, this was like very, very, very intense. So like Mason's times like 10. I wasn't feeling well. I called my doctor's office and I was like, I think something's like different with this pregnancy. And I did not think twins at all. So I just said like, oh, you know, I'm really sick, like I'm really feeling super sick. And they were just like, oh, you know, just try a bland diet, the brat diet, try to eat a little bit. And they told me a few things that it is recommended when you have morning sickness, but this, I'm telling you guys, this was another beast. Like, nothing was working and I couldn't eat. My stomach was hurting because I was so hungry. But then when I ate, everything made me extremely nauseous. I couldn't smell anything, couldn't smell my kids, couldn't smell myself. When I showered, I couldn't smell the soap because it made, like, I'm telling you guys, literally everything was making me nauseous. So I never threw up, but everything was making me insanely nauseous, to the point where I had to have a thing of Vicks on my nose like all day long. It was just like scary, to be honest. And it's exactly what people with hyperemesis describe. It was just like that, except I wasn't throwing up. So I finally, like 3 days later, I call my OB again, and I'm just like, I'm not getting off the phone until someone does something for me, because this is not normal. Like, whatever I'm feeling is not normal. I honestly thought I was dying, and I know that sounds funny to some people, but I literally thought that the pregnancy was like killing me, because it was so intense, like everything I was going through. And also it felt like in the middle of the day, I mean, I was feeling crappy, and then once it hit like 2-3 o'clock, if my body just like shut down. It felt like I had taken a unisom, and it was literally like I was fighting to stay awake. It was ridiculous. So when I called, they were like, oh, you know, okay, I did lose some weight, I couldn't eat anything, barely could drink. So then she's like, okay, I'm gonna send over medication to your pharmacy. So I got Zofran. Thank God that it's helping. I'm still nauseous, but it is helping. I'm like up, you know, I'm functioning, thank God. So soon after that, a few weeks later, I had my first prenatal appointment at 8 weeks pregnant. I went up by myself. I was like, okay, Joel, come with me to the appointment, wait for me in the car with the kids, it's gonna be quick. I didn't want the kids to come up, because I was just like, you know, there's not a lot of space in the office, it's 3 kids, just wait for me in the car. It's literally a quick appointment, like it's so quick, watch a movie in the car, hang out. And he had work that morning, so we were just gonna drop him off at work. I see the doctor that I saw with Mason mostly, and they do a transvaginal ultrasound. So I'm laying there and I'm kind of scared, because it's my first ultrasound with this baby, and or these babies. And you know, there's always like that little thing inside of you that's scared, especially if you've had a loss before. I wasn't recording or anything, because I said I just want to make sure that I see the heartbeat, and then I'll start recording and show Joel the quick, super quick ultrasound. The doctor puts the device inside. He kind of does like a sweep type of thing, and I kind of saw something like, it looked like a sack and like a little baby, the first like side that he did it on, and then he like moved it a little bit, and then I saw, you know, the sack and a baby. And in my mind, I was just like, what the heck was that, like over there? But it happened so fast that I was just kind of like, oh, what the heck was that? But then, oh, there's the baby, like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And he said something along the lines of, oh, I was just making sure there's only one baby. Yeah, there's only one. And then I'm like, okay, like, oh my God, I see my baby, I'm so happy. And we just kind of laugh, and then he like moves it back, and then he goes, I take that back. And then I was just like, no. Like, it felt like a dream. I was just like, no. Like, what? I didn't know how to react. I didn't know like nothing. So all I kept saying was, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, are you serious? Like, and I think he thought that I was angry, maybe, because he knew, he had seen me with Mason. So I didn't get birth control with Mason, and he was like, you know, is it the end of the world if we have another baby? And I was like, okay, I mean, we're not planning on it, but no, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So he knew that, and he knew that we weren't planning. I told him that it was an unplanned pregnancy. So I think he thought I was upset. And in the video, I'll insert it, I think I said, you know, I'm not upset, it's just, you know, it's unplanned. I'm in shock, like, I'm in shock. I started recording, like, very shortly after that. I was like, can I just take a video for my husband? Like, and he's like, yeah. So I'm just like, oh my God, I'm seeing it, but I can't believe it. I'm seeing it, but I don't believe it. I'm not upset, I'm just in shock.
I'm glad you're not upset.
Oh my God. cannot believe it. And a funny thing is, again, I had no idea, like no inclination that it was twins. I think once in my mind it crossed. And it's funny because all the videos I watched, like the pregnancy updates, I kept turning off the videos of women having just one baby, and I was just like, I can't relate. Before I knew, I was just like, I can't relate. Like, nobody's as sick as me. Some of these women are sick, but like they're all glammed up making a YouTube video, and I'm literally like, I cannot get up from my couch. I cannot get up from my couch all day long. And I was just like, I can't relate to these women. But then when I would turn to the twin updates on, there's a channel, I think it's called Twiniversity, something like that. I was just like, okay, I relate to this. And I related to the twin videos. I don't know why. So that was just like a freaky thing before we knew. But other than that, I did not have an inclination. I actually thought like, oh, maybe I'm having a girl this time because I am so insanely sick. And they say that when you are pregnant with girls, you tend to be more sick. But I know that there's a lot of women with boys that were super sick the entire pregnancy. So I was just like, I'm just sick. Like, this is just a completely different pregnancy and I'm just sick. I didn't think anything of it. So going back to the doctor, after I found out, I got a long video. I got only one picture, which makes me sad because I'm like, I want to see my babies. And one of the sacs was a little bit smaller than the other one, but the doctor said, you know, they're measuring like 7 weeks 6 days. So he's like, they're both measuring exactly, like pretty much the same. So the smaller sac doesn't mean anything potentially wrong or anything. I was just in shock the whole time. But he did give me that one picture, and I'll show you guys. It's the one on Instagram actually, so if you guys want to see it, go on Instagram. I went to the car and I told Joel, I was like, look at the ultrasound picture. And he was just like, oh, okay. He didn't catch it. And I was like, baby A, baby B. And he was like, no. And we were just like laughing, and he was just like, what? We could not believe it. It was an insane day. I, called my sister, FaceTime. She goes, oh, how are the twins? Because we had been joking about like the gender, like, oh, you think it's a girl, but you thought Mason was a girl, you thought Elam was a girl. So she was paying no mind to me. And then I was like, you know what, I think it's twins, like I'm so sick, blah blah. Like I kind of joked about it, before I knew. And she was just like, girl, like, shut up, you are wrong, like you've been wrong. So she was kind of joking, and she goes, so how are the twins, like how did the appointment go? And then I'm like, I think I started laughing, and I was like, yeah, there's 2. And she was like, no way, like no. And then I just started calling my family, which I never call my family really, that sounds horrible, but I have family in another state and another country. So I was like, hey, so what are you doing? So are you home? So can you call me? And I think everyone was like thrown off when I was asking them to call me and asking where they were. And yeah, I told everyone, like most of my family, like immediate family, right away. That day everyone's super happy. We told Joel's parents, I think a few weeks later. I wanted him to tell them because those are his parents, but he works late, so the schedules just weren't matching up. But we did tell them. Everyone's super happy. And then I announced it on Instagram, I think the next day. And yeah, that's the story of us finding out we're having twins. We do not know the genders. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think that was supposed to be one of the questions. I honestly don't know when I'm gonna find out the gender, but we are planning on finding out. And yeah, I'm gonna share it with you guys eventually. I'm gonna probably do a few more videos like going into more detail, because I know that everyone has so many questions, and you guys want to know like everything. I know I would want to know if I was watching someone say that they are having twins. So I'm gonna show you guys a belly shot right now. I'm wearing this because I'm so cold. Like, I'm always cold. And by the way, this is a jogger set from my business. It's the Olivia jogger set. If any of you guys want to get it, I'm gonna put a discount code down below. It's gonna be YouTube, but just YouTube to get some money off your purchase today. But yeah, let me show you guys a belly shot. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention is that it did throw me off a little bit that my belly was growing so fast. I did notice that with this pregnancy, like before I had my period, I was like, wow, I'm like really bloated. and then my stomach was just like not going down, and I was like, what the heck? But yeah, let me show you guys my belly with this. Lift this up. I'm just gonna like do this. So one side, I'm not that bloated. This is my belly. There you go, my babies. I don't know if my comments are gonna be on, honestly, because I literally have not been on YouTube on my channel. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I know a lot of people have gotten their comments back. Yeah, if my comments aren't back, just go over on Instagram and say what's up. Follow me. You can leave me comments, questions. I am gonna try to be a little bit more active on Instagram and like share this journey. Mostly I've been sharing it on my stories. So if you follow me on Instagram, like keep an eye out for my stories, because I go into more detail because it's just easier on there. And then I'm saving everything to the pregnant twins highlights. And yes, you guys, if you have any questions, leave them down below if I do have comments. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be making a few more videos. I'm not sure exactly when I'm gonna be posting them, but I just feel like I have a lot to say this time around, and this time around it's a completely different experience than with my other pregnancies and babies. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for your support and checking in on me and stuff. So I appreciate that, and I'm so thankful for you guys. And yeah, I'm not gonna promise that I'm gonna be on YouTube like multiple times a week or anything like that. I'm just kind of taking it day by day. I'm trying to do what's best for myself, my mental health, my body, these babies, my other babies, you know, all of that comes first, and then I try to share what I can with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.